Hey, Syed.
Hey, Megan, how are you?
Good. Hi, Suwana.
Hello.
Hey, Joanna, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Not too bad. Should we get started?
I think we have to
We
wait.
will yeah, that's what I thought. We meant to wait for Jody.
Oh, we meant to wait for Jody. Okay.
Flag
Yeah,
us
she's
off,
just
and
gonna
then off we go.
Okay.
make sure we're
Final
all ready.
flag off.
So while we're waiting, are we going in the order that's on the list? Do you just want to go in the order? Is that okay? So Syed,
Yeah.
myself, and Suwana.
Yeah, I'm okay that way.
Cool.
Don't mind.
Yeah.
And
The other thing is, I guess, someone needs to take note twice. Because, you know how I'm presenting and the other person needs to take notes.
Yeah.
So unless both of us, whoever is not presenting takes notes, because there's three of us.
Okay, folks, you are recording. You're ready to go. Have fun. Good luck. See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jody.
I think we just need to do one. So if
Yeah.
you're first, and then Megan does you, and then whatever the sequence is, the next person does it, and then the other person.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yep. So I'll do yours, Syed.
Yep.
Then Suwana will do
I will
mine,
do Megan.
and then you will do Suwana.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, how do we do it? And then I couldn't figure it.
So,
okay, let's get started. I guess we don't really have a lot of time left. My name is Syed. Syed Rahman. I'm one of the validation panel members for this unit of competency HLTWHS001. Today we'll be looking at briefly looking at the pre-validation report as well as the post-validation report and record our recommendation to update or validate this unit of competency. Megan, do you want to go next and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Megan. I'm a validation panel member. Thank you for having me along. Looking forward to collaborating with you both and seeing what we can come up with.
Thank you, Megan. Suwana, you next.
I'm Suwana. I'm also a validation team member. I'm really excited to validate HLTWHS001 with you both.
Thank you. I will share my screen, and there's a couple of things we need to on the screen. How do I stop it? Stop sharing. Okay. So a couple of things we need to agree on. So while I'm presenting this, as I said, that I will briefly going through the pre-validation report. I will make it bigger, and then it will be very brief. All of us done it, and then we'll thoroughly go through the post-validation one. As we go through each item, we will be sharing our ideas. And we agree on a recommended approach. What we're recommending as a team. Obviously, we will go around the table and then, share our ideas. We'll try to keep it brief and short and concise as well. If you need to, participate, share anything, raise your hand, stop, but speak. You can also use the chat room. Just to remember that if you use the chat room, while I'm presenting, I may not see it, so just speak up. I'm happy either way. At the end of the validation, as I said, while I'm presenting, I guess one of you will be recording the recommendation as well. If you could share that either via the chat group or through an email, whichever works for you, and we'll do the same thing for others as well. And at the end of the validation, if you could also give each other feedback, how everyone participated, and then share their ideas as well. So that would be good. Anything else I may have missed?
I don't think so. I think you've covered it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the other thing I think I forgot to mention is that because we will have to submit this validation report as a team, if you could give us consent each other to the agreed recommendation that we're going to put together, sign on it, like putting your digital signature on your behalf instead of sharing the document, if you're okay with that.
Yep, I'm happy for you to do that. Yeah.
And I'm happy for you to do that too. Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you.
So as I mentioned, this is the pre-validation report, which all of us has gone through. There's a number of things that which we have found on this document. One of the major one is the document, the assessment instrument did not have the training package or the qualification recorded properly in pretty much not all, any of them. It's not, it should be same as the TAS. So you all agree to that?
Yes.
Yep. And we also found another one, which is the due date were not clearly identified on any of the document, which should have been identified. That's the other thing as well. I guess, Megan, you're taking notes for us, right?
Yes. So put these ones straight into the findings.
Yep. So first one is the qualification was not. It should be same as TAS, and assessment designer should make sure that no qualifications are listed properly, and the due dates are not clearly identified.
May I add, with the first one, you might want to also note that the TAS states there are 2 assessment events when there are 3 assessment events for this unit.
Yes, that's a good one as well. So Megan, if you could also record that TAS has got 2 assessment event. What is, yeah.
Thank you.
And then the last one I have is the version control on the document, footer page and the page number. The version control is not on the footer document. All the pages are numbered, date to be added to be, so version control are not on the footer of the document. That's one of the item. Anything else you may have, Suvarna or Megan, that in the pre-validation report that which you have come across, but I haven't?
Not for me, not for the pre-validation, no.
Okay.
Yeah, we've covered it all.
All right, good. Moving on to the post-validation one. Let me see. Got so many documents open. There you go. Found the post-validation one. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen, or if it is too big or too short.
I can see it clearly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go through the whole document. What I did is the issues that I have found I've summarized in an outcome table. So I'm just gonna go through those items in the table number 17. So the first one I have is the assessment evidence clearly identify the core and the name of the training product unit of competency. So I think it's pretty much the same as what we have found in the pre-validation as well. So Megan, you don't really have to take another notes, but this should reflect the same thing that the assessment evidence document also missing the correct training package name. So it is mainly a poor design of the document. So that should have been rectified.
Yes.
Do you agree with that, Suvarna?
I agree
Megan?
as well. Yep, I've had that noted.
Next one I have, there's sufficient evidence to support the assessor's judgment of competence, quality, quantity, and relevant. So the main issue was that all the evidence that were given to us, it is from the same assessor. It was assessed by the same assessor. For the validation purpose, it should have been for different assessor. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yes, I had found the same. Yeah.
So obviously, I think this would be a action point for the late validator who actually supplied all those documents to make sure that the assessment evidence that were given to us, like a sample document, it should be from different assessor, like 3 different assessor, not from the same assessor.
Excellent.
For this action point.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is the pretty much the same, reflected the same thing. Evidence demonstrate that the assessments were conducted consistently across different assessors, so they reflect the same. So you don't really have to record another action. The assessor should have, lead assessor should have given us assessment from the different assessor. Does it make sense, Suvarna?
Yeah.
And then the next one I'm going through is there is sufficient evidence to support the assessor judgment of competence. So this is in table 10. I've got the table number as well. So I found that the candidate were fully informed of the assessment process, performed the expectation instruction. However, none of them provided the due date. So I think this goes back to the pre-validation action point that we have recorded, that the assessment document did not have the due date. It's not really fault of the student. It's more of a design fault. So do you guys agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I guess, Megan, I don't think you have to add anything else on the top of that. We already have that covered, but you could mention that the evidence also had the same issue if you wanted to.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you'd like to add, Suena and Megan, on this?
Not on that. I think as you go through, I'll let you know if I have something varied from what you picked up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that. Yeah. Next one I have is, was there any part of the assessment that produced an incorrect or incomplete response? It should be or. I think that's a wording mistake in the document. Incomplete response in a large percentage of the student. So 2 out of 3 students got the answer wrong in the first attempt. In the knowledge evidence of question 2 question 4. So which is pretty much 66%, literally. So which is large. So I think another recommendation would be for the lead validator as well as the assessment designer to review that question to see whether they can, I guess, simplify it. So easier for the student to understand and follow through. So just to review that question, so if you could record that, Megan.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
anything else you'd like to add, or do you agree to this? Or
Well, I'm just looking at the document and triple checking for us. I have question 5, but you're right. I got that wrong on mine. That's all good.
you have question 4, question 5. Okay.
No question. It is question 4. I've just looked into the document.
Thank you for double checking, Suena. Megan, you had the question 4 as well.
I did have question 4 as well. I did toss up whether or not it would be required as an action. However, I do believe it is, as 2 of the 3 students did get that wrong at the first attempt and were required to resubmit.
Resubmit, yeah. Thank you. Moving on, in the table number 14, assessment resources detailed on the TAS were consistent with the assessment evidence. The qualification on all the assessment evidence document were different from the TAS qualification. I think we've already covered that under the pre-validation review. So you already have a recorded action point for that. So I don't think there's anything else we need to do for this. Assessment method detailed. Next one is the assessment method detailed on the TAS were consistent with the assessment evidence. And this is on the table number 14. There was a case study which was not listed as assessment method in TAS. So I think we have already covered that as well in our pre-validation, which Suena also mentioned. Have you recorded that as a separate action point, Megan? So
I'm just double checking my table. So assessment methods, sorry, just jump down to that. Assessment methods detail.
So the action point is this page was that the designer should follow the TAS recommendation to have 2 assessment, not 3.
Not 3.
Not 3, and then those assessments should be, one of them should be knowledge and one of them should be skills, which they have, but they have added a 3rd one. Next one is the assessment timing detail on the TAS are consistent with the dates on the assessment assessment evidence. Assessment end date in TAS was 13th of October. But the assessment evidence shows that it was submitted early August, which is inconsistent to TAS. So I guess this is more of a action point for the trainer, I guess. They should have made sure that the assessment due dates were or followed as per the TAS schedule. Do you guys agree with that? What do you think?
Yes.
I didn't particularly, not say I disagree, I noted it. However, I guess I rationalized it as the final, I guess, due date being October, and anything submitted prior to October is within the due dates of that. So therefore, it's still within the parameters. But I mean, that's definitely something we can look at as well, for if everyone agrees that, it should be consistent exactly as per when the assessments were submitted, because the due dates were not listed in any of the assessment documents either.
No,
Correct.
no.
Yeah, it's a
But
very
the
good point.
evidence suggests that they were submitted
the
around
dates from it,
August,
correct,
which is like pretty much 2 months earlier than the end date, which means that a student may have been given shorter time than they should have, or the date did not reflect what task schedule was. So they should align either way. So the next one I have is the evidence demonstrate that students were provided support prior to being reassessed. I guess all this evidence that we have been given by the lead validator, none of them really suggest that students were provided support prior to being reassessed, especially those students who had to resubmit. Other than the feedback or comment that was given in this, I haven't got any evidence which suggests that they were given any support prior reassessed. So my recommendation would be that the lead validator should give us those evidence as well if there was any, for us to be able to say yes to it. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
no
I
evidence
agree.
to support that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
agreed.
again, if you could just make a quick note, we haven't been given that we should have been given the evidence, as a part of this validation resources.
Yep.
And lucky last, assessment evidence demonstrate that the student pre-existing skills and knowledge were considered as part of the assessment process. Again, no evidence was given to suggest, it was considered. What do you guys think, Suana?
I didn't see any evidence either. However, I guess pre-existing, I would say no. I have it noted as well, but it just made me think, I guess some of the case study and some of the questions are based on their workplace, whether that might be, pre-existing skills and knowledge, but I guess that's part of the training package as well. So I think that's something we can know.
It's very hard to tell, whether there was any pre-existing knowledge considered or not.
I would agree on that. I did sort of flip backwards and forwards on this one, because although I can't see whether actually had any workplace assessment as such, or work skills, there are some of the documentation the assessment were based on workplace signage. I'm not sure that that's really sufficient to say that it was in the workplace. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I agree with that. Yeah, exactly.
Look, that's all I had on my list. Do you, Suana or Megan, have got anything else on your list that you may have found or come across?
Let me just check. I don't think so. I think you have covered everything. Due dates, qualification.
Yeah, so what I've listed is what you've brought up, and we've discussed some of those points together based on what I've had.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for participating this weekend. We will finish our validation for this unit here. Megan, if you could share those notes, the action points, recommendation point in the chat group or in an email would be good.
No problem. If you guys are comfortable with it, I would like to just jazz them up a bit. I've made notes, but I will make sure they're emailed through tonight. But I would just like to. I've made dot points.
Okay, you shorthand, right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, that works.
That'd be good. Yeah, that's fine.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure I covered it.
Now, the last bit before we finish up, I guess this is something we could do at the end of all three assessment review. But I guess while it is still fresh in the mind, do you guys have any feedback for me or feedback for each other? If you could share it.
In terms of feedback, I think I really liked how you asked everyone and checked in frequently to see if we shared same thoughts, and there was, I guess, plenty of opportunity for us to discuss, and it was a very, I guess, polite discussion, which I really appreciated.
Thank you, Suvarna. Megan, any feedback for either of us?
I agree with that. It was very well structured. Thank you. It was easy to follow. So I think having, just having that on the screen and then also having my document to do a cross check was really handy. So thank you. I think it was very well run. Thank you, Syed.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Suvarna. Look, you guys have participated very well and contributed as well, and helped me to help pretty much all of us to agree on those action points. That is very good. You also checked anything else that I may have missed as well. There's like 2 items over there, like especially Suvarna and Megan. Thank you for taking those notes. I don't think we would be able to finish it in time, without someone else taking notes. So that's it. We will finish up the validation for this year. Handing this over to, I think, Megan, you're next. Is that right?
I sure am. Thank you.
Yep. I'm handing this over to you.
Megan, just before you start, I'm just going to make sure I have everything up and ready to go. So just bear with me because.
You're right. That's good. Give me a second to close.
Yeah, so because we've got so many tabs open.
And open the P.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'll just bring mine up. Ugh.
You've got the PSP one, right, Megan?
I do, yep. So okay, so I'll just make sure I've got my
ready when you are.
Both of them here. Okay, thank you. Hi, my name's Megan. So I'll be the lead the facilitator tonight for our validation. Thank you so much for attending. So tonight we're going to review, it's within the qualification HLT 23221, which is a Certificate 2 in Health Support Services. But the unit code we're looking at is BSB PEF 202, Plan and Apply Time Management. So if you could just introduce yourselves before I get started, and then I'll share my screen. We'll just go through a few housekeeping bits and pieces and we can get started.
Yep, I'm Suvarna. I'm one of the validation team members, and I'm excited to validate this unit together with all of you.
Thank you, Suvarna.
Thank you, Suvarna. Nice to meet you.
Okay. I'll go next. My name is Syed Rahman. I'm the validation panel member. I'm excited to join you guys to validate this unit of competency BSB PEF 202.
Thank you, Syed. It's good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we get started, I'll share my screen shortly, but just a few housekeeping things. So I will start to go through and lead the discussion. I would absolutely love your feedback. I guess that's why we're here. It would be wonderful if you could raise your hand or just pop a question in the chat if you would like to. I think it'll be fairly collaborative. I'm not sure that we'll need that chat, but if you would like to ask a question, just please pop that in there and we can come back to it. Yeah, do you guys have any questions before we get started?
Nope. No, I'm good, thank you. I'm ready to go.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. Okay, so I am looking at you. So I'm listening to you, but my screen is to the left because it's a little bit larger. So I do apologize if I'm not giving eye contact. Are you guys comfortable with that? If I move back from time to time, can you see my screen?
I think we'll be looking at the screen most of the time, Megan. not
can you
at
see
the video.
The screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Excellent. So as part of the process, Suwana, it would be wonderful if you are happy to take the notes for our actions. It's just a really good opportunity for us, while I'm talking through, if you're happy to capture them, and we can put them all together at the end of it. But,
Are you happy to note down, for me to note down our findings, and then if there's any recommendations, I'll put that there, and then if we want to add more recommendations later, we can do that together.
Absolutely. Even if we just capture the detail, and we can, I know it moves quite quickly, so I'm happy to wrap them up at the end. That's completely fine. So thank you so much. So as discussed, we are looking at we're going to talk about the validation process for BSB PEF 202. So within the pre-validation report, just pop down. I'm just going to skim over this one because I feel like we need to spend more time on post-validation. So when we're going through the package itself, there's a few items that I feel that I've picked up on that do need actioning. So I'll identify those. If you agree, please let me know. If you don't, and you have any feedback, it would be great to hear others as well. Okay. I'm sure there's some no's. Okay, so under the assessment conditions in fairness on table 8, I had noted that the assessment conditions, I feel, were clearly communicated. However, there was no due dates on the knowledge assessment. Did either of you find that?
Yeah, I have that noted as well, the due dates.
I also picked up that venue is not listed for the AE knowledge 1 of 2.
So, okay, so no venue listed. Thank you. Did you find that also, Suwana? No venue?
I've not had that noted, but I'll have to look into that further. But I'm happy to put that as a note for us.
Just make a note and then we can review. Excellent. Yep. Thank you very much. Okay, so down to the next one. Oh, that's not good.
I did have something at the top, but I'm happy for you. I don't know if you had it as well. But it was in relation to, on table 3, in relation to using plain English. I noted punctuation in assessment event 1 of 2, part 1, question 4B, as well as the mapping information included in the observation checklist 3.1 can be removed for the candidate's assessment event because there's mapping information within the assessment event document.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that feedback. I'll just, if we can also make a note on that as well, that would be great. Do you
Megan,
have any additional feedback
Megan,
on that?
I've got to under table 11, file management. So one of the note I have, the assessment parts are uniquely named, but tasks are not uniquely named. So it is more like task 1, task 2, task 3.
Okay, sure.
That was one of the feedback. The second one I have is under the version control on documents and footer, the UAG and MACUM document does not have the date. That's my other note.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I actually did have that noted as well. So I do apologize. So the year is noted, however, the month is not specified. And the version control I found was only on page 2, not on each page of the document.
Yep. This one, I'm not sure if you have that noted as well. If you could, if you don't, if you could just record them as an action point. So these two, and one of the recommendation is that assessment tasks, it would be good to have them uniquely named.
I've got that noted as well. Yeah.
And that's all I had for the pre-validation, Megan. If you want to move to post-validation, unless Suwana has got anything else.
No, I think we've covered what I've listed as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See, and this is the reason why it's really good to do this together, because I had my notes written, but I had written yes instead of no. So thank you very much. And I'm not trying to trick anyone. Okay, so
I'll give you one tips after that as a feedback. But anyway, continue on, Megan. You're doing great. We're doing great.
Okay, thank you so much. So now that we've talked through the pre-validation, I do have a few action items that I've picked up for post-validation. So I'll talk through the examples that I have, and if we can, I'm happy to talk through them. Any ideas or responses you have, I'm very happy to hear. So I did find in Table 8 that the assessment evidence, some of the documents did not have the correct unit code. So it was the correct on the TAS document, but the other documents did not show the qualification code. Did you find
Again,
the same?
do you want to share your table that you're referring to?
Sorry, I think I
The
still have
outcome table. You still have the pre-validation report in front of us.
Is that better?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Syed. So in regards to the assessment evidence, I have noted from Table 8 that the documents don't have the correct qualification code on the TAS, so which is on the TAS. So the qualification code on the other documents are incorrect.
Yes, I have the same note as well, Megan. It's definitely, doesn't have the correct qualification listed.
Excellent. Do you agree?
It's for both assessment document and SURs as well. SARS doesn't have the other.
The SIRS, okay.
Yep.
Excellent. So we do need to make sure that when we're going through those, that we have those updated. So thank you so much.
So it would be a note for the assessment designer to make sure that all the document has the correct SARS, and obviously in the pre-validation we haven't picked it up, which means that the version that was handed over probably it would be for the trainer to actually, I guess, note that down to the student that they have to make sure the correct qualification code is recorded there as well.
Is recorded.
In the submission. Yeah.
Thank you. So in Table 11 is the next one that I've picked up. So the students have received the instructions. So in regards to the assessment evidence, does it show that the students have been fully informed of the entire process? I can see that the instructions are clear. However, there are no due dates on them. For Learner 1, it's missing a date. And for the knowledge assessment for Learner 2, it was missing the venue details.
I have that noted as well.
Excellent. So if we can make a note of that as well.
I have the same note as well. Yeah.
Excellent. So in the table. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
And I guess Suana, same thing goes there as well. It would be a note for the assessment designer as well as for the trainer to inform a student to make sure that, because we didn't pick it up in the pre-validation, which means that the template had it and somewhere it got dropped off.
Somewhere it's been dropped off. Thank you. Excellent. So in regards to the evidence demonstrating that they were provided support prior to being reassessed, I believe with the 3 learners, there was limited feedback. So there was no evidence, I believe, that to show that they were provided support to being reassessed. Would you agree with those?
I haven't received any evidence either to suggest that they were provided support. So I guess it's for the lead validator to make sure that we are given those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So that we can see that evidence that the trainer has provided the feedback.
Yeah, as a part of a validation process.
Great. Thank you. How are you going there, Suana?
I'm going well. Yeah, I had that same thing noted where I said limited feedback, and but just for one learner, the other learner did not have any feedback. So
okay, thank you. In regards to the assessment resources, with the details being on the TAS consistent with the evidence, I believe we've covered this off as well. But again, the due date stated on the TAS, but they are not consistent with the submission dates. Again, the dates that are on the TAS, are the 13th of October. However, the submission dates were in August. So it could, as we were discussing with the previous unit, be that they were submitted early, but I feel that there was quite a big gap between when they were submitted and when they were actually due.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. It should be aligned. It could be the trainer, who needs to look into this, make sure that those due dates are communicated and aligned as per the times.
They're aligned, yeah.
They're aligned.
Excellent. And also on learner number 1, so learner 124569558, I did not see any due dates on the knowledge assessment.
Yeah, I had that as well.
I've got one, Megan. I don't know if you have it on the list. So there was, how we looked at the support being provided prior being reassessed. So there is another one is that assessment evidence demonstrate that student pre-existing skills and knowledge were considered as a part of the assessment process. Same as the last USC, I haven't been given any evidence to actually say that there were their pre-existing skill and knowledge were considered. Do you guys agree to that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll just double check my
So that
notes.
was, I think, in table 14 as well.
14, sorry.
That's okay.
Scroll back up.
Whatever it says, the pre-existing knowledge.
I had it listed for table 11, not sure.
Oh, table 11. Okay, yeah, it is table 11.
On mine was on table 11, however.
Yeah, it should be table 11 then, yeah. If you go up.
Yeah, I do have noted, sorry.
You're on table 9.
I'll find the right one first.
Yep. So that's the entire process.
Support. Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Syed, another case of having the correct comment, but not the correct section. Yeah. So yeah, there is no evidence to suggest that the students' pre-existing skills and knowledge were considered. I do definitely agree with that.
Anything else you have, Swarna? I don't have anything else on my list.
I don't. I think we've captured what I have listed. I can't think of anything else. I'm just triple checking my document.
No, I didn't have anything else either. But I do appreciate that Syed, that you've picked up on those. I do apologise that they have been missed.
No, look, it's all right. And especially what you're scrolling through is very hard. One of the things what I did, so this is me giving a bit of a feedback at the end, is I highlighted the issues one in red, because otherwise when you scroll through, it's easy to miss. So that's how I made sure that I picked it up. But I've also copied one of the issue twice as well as in some of them as well. So
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
But it always helps. If you mark it as in red, that's the one you need to discuss
that's
in the
good
meeting.
Feedback. Definitely. Also
Other than that, it was very good. Very thorough, easy to follow, Megan, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to review this together.
Thank you. And how about you, Sruana? Do you have any feedback? Please be honest. I know I do feel that I could have run it better. But I do appreciate the feedback and the support from you both.
I think I really appreciated that you provided very clear instructions at the start that what the expectations of how our meeting was going to be, and I think that really helped me in following the meeting and us making sure we stay on track and making sure we are covering all the parts that we need to as part of this validation. So I think that was very clear and helpful. You did really well.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. I do appreciate the feedback, and I look forward to working with you again soon. So, Sruana, once you do have the notes ready to go, I'm not expecting them now. If you could email them to myself and Syed, that would be amazing, and we can then sign off, and so that we've got the consent that we've all agreed that with that outcome.
Yeah, sure will. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me save this.
I will stop sharing.
All right, I will share my screen. Can everyone see my screen here and see me clearly?
Yes, we
Yep,
can.
ready
Yes.
to go?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Swarna. I'm the lead assessor for this validation unit. Of CHC CCS 012 Prepare and Maintain Bids. It's part of the qualification HLT 23221, Certificate 2 in Health Support Services, Release 1. I'll just go around and reintroduce ourselves before I begin our session today. Megan, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Megan. I am a panel member for this validation this evening, and I'm looking forward to working through with you on the items that I've found and to see what we all come up with together.
Thank you, Megan. Lovely to meet you. And Syed?
Hi, my name is Syed Rahman. I'm one of the validation panel member. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to join you guys to review this together, and checking my notes and then, agreeing on action plan to validate this unit of competency.
All right. For today, we're going to go through and validate CHC CCS 012. Syed, are you happy to take some notes on our findings and recommendations for us so as we go through this together?
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. This will be, I guess, there's only 3 of us. I'm happy for us to just, you can let me know if you have any questions in between. I'm happy for that. Or if you want to put it in the chat, that's fine with me as well. I just want to remind us to be polite, and I'm sure everyone has the opportunity to chat. At the end of this as well, I'll be asking for some feedback on how this session went. I'd appreciate some feedback for my own learning. And are you all happy for me? Because as we've all attended this meeting, I require your signatures on this document. Are you happy for me to sign on behalf of you?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Yes, I'm going to go through the pre-validation report really quickly before we jump in and look in at the post-validation report in more detail, because some of the things that we might capture in pre-validation reports also captured within the post-validation report. So the first thing I've noted in the pre-validation report is that the training package that is listed is incorrect. It has a superseded qualification on the assessment documents and the marking guides. The training, the TAS has the current code, the UAG, and the CERS does not include a qualification code at all. So there's just a couple of information missing in terms of the training package. So we'll need to ensure that that's included in all the documents later on. And this was the same with the national accredited code, so the unit of competency as well. It's listing the superseded qualification as opposed to the current one that needs to be listed. Did anyone note anything different in those sections?
No, I've got the same notes. And
I have the same notes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm also making some notes here as an action point, assessment designer to ensure that correct qualification being recorded or listed for student to select for this one.
Yeah. I also noted, I guess, the language used on the observation checklist. assessment event 2 of 2, table 2, where I think the language is above the qualification level because it's at the AQF, it's a certificate 2 level, so AQF level 2. Words such as adequacy and receptacle, I feel is a much higher language as opposed to plain English to explain those concepts. So I've noted that down as well.
I have the same note as well, Suna.
Yeah.
And making a recommendation as that assessment designer team to ensure that plain language is being used throughout the assessment tool.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now, in terms of sufficiency, I've noted that the unit assessment guide does not have information on the trainers or assessors listed. So I think that's an important information that needs to be listed, who would be training and assessing this qualification. And then I didn't have anything for the currency, authenticity sections. Did anyone have anything there that they want to bring up?
No, I don't.
Yep. So in fairness, it comes back to the same point about the AQF level. So we've already covered that. And the other part that we haven't covered is the assessment conditions. The due dates and venues are not mentioned on all the assessment event documents as well as the unit assessment guide. So that's also something that needs to be included.
Yep, I agree with that.
What was it under? Due date and venue, right?
Due date and venues on the assessment events as well as the unit assessment guide.
Yep.
And then in the validity section, I had, I guess, some comments on the mapping. I think task 1, question 1 should be mapped to performance evidence 1.4. Task 2, question 2 should be mapped to performance evidence 3.3. And I disagree that task 3C and 3D, it does not map to knowledge evidence 2.6. If you didn't catch that slide, I'm happy to pop it in the chat if it helps at all for you. Or
I have the same note. So I'm pretty much copying and paste the same thing as a recommendation that this should be done.
Can I just double check? Sorry, Sawana.
Okay. Yeah.
I also have the same similar notes. I've just questioned. So the skills task number 1, question 1. Did you mention that one?
Yeah. Did you say assessment 2 of 2? Yes, skills. Sorry. Task 1, question 1. Yes, should be mapped to
Excellent.
PE 1.4.
1.4.
And task 2, question 2 should be mapped to PE 3.3.
3.3. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to keep up with the numbers.
It's always good to check. In terms of reliability, I didn't have anything. In terms of file management, I noted dates to be added to the unit assessment guide and mapping document. Does anyone have anything else to add for pre-validation at all?
The only thing that I would note is on the last one, Swana, on the file management, I do agree with the dates. However, the version control, again, is only on one page, which is page 2. It's not in the footer on each page.
Yep, I have the same note, and I've made a note of the action. Recommended action is that the UAG and the mapping guide does not have the month specified, and the version control is not consistent across the document, which should be consistent as well.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to move over to the post-validation report. Just going to go through, I put my outcomes at the bottom, and then if you have anything different or you'd like to discuss it, we certainly can look in that as well. As we previously noted as well, all the assessment event documents and the marking guides outline a superseded qualification code. So we need to rectify that as well. I had for learner 1, assessment event 1 of 2, outcome and feedback was marked satisfactory. However, learner received unsatisfactory result. So I guess something for the trainer to note.
Yeah, it's more for the assessor, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Sorry, my bad. Yes, I meant assessor to note, because the feedback was discussing the skills when the assessment was also knowledge-based in the assessment feedback. So that's definitely something that the assessor needs to be more mindful for. And it was the same thing with learner 3, question 4 not being marked but receiving a satisfactory outcome. So the assessors have to be, I guess, a little bit more wary. Then I also had that the evidence of assessments were marked by the same assessor for all candidates.
Yes, I had the same.
And I also had, so the recommendation, to ensure that, we have some consistency, I think having different assessors would be good moving forward. The next one I had is that I think we mentioned this earlier, that it didn't have the due date, nor the time taken to complete the assessment. So that's something that's important for us to note, because candidates will need that information.
We
Yeah.
already recorded that under the previous edition, right?
Previous one.
So I don't have to make another note then.
Thank you. And there was no evidence. I didn't find any evidence of pre-existing skills and knowledge were considered within the assessment. Did anyone find anything?
No, I didn't either. I have got here. There's no evidence that I can see to demonstrate there was support provided prior to being reassessed.
Yeah, thank you for that. And then I guess we've also noted this earlier, but also bringing this up again, that the TAS outlines a different qualification compared to all the assessment documents, given that the documents had a superseded both qualification and unit of competency codes on there. So that's another one that I have noted. Was there anything else that any one of you have noted that I didn't pick up?
I do also have the dates. So the assessment timing detailed on the TAS is inconsistent with the dates on the assessment evidence. I believe we picked this one up through the 3 units. So again, it could just be that they've submitted early, but it just seems to be misaligned with the due date. So the TAS states the 16th to the 27th of October, but the assessment evidence date was August.
Thank you for that, Megan.
I think I've made a note of that. Let me just double check. Yeah, assessment timing details on TAS are not consistent with the dates and the assessment evidence. Yep, I've made a note of that already.
Excellent.
I'm just going through my notes to see if anything else. So code, we discussed that. Evidence were provided with cost, we discussed that. I have one. Evidence demonstrate that a student were provided support prior being reassessed. Have we discussed that one?
Yes, we did.
Okay, let me see.
What was the table number?
11, table number 11.
Oh yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah, so I had it noted as it showed that there was some support, because they did say, to read further in terms of answering the question. So I found that sufficient for a knowledge evidence, putting that there.
But was it like a specific, other than just saying that read that note, it wasn't like I read that particular section of it. It just said read that, the handbooks. Do you think that is sufficient?
It included, I believe it gave a specific section. Let me just check that. Let's just bring that up really quickly for ourselves. And
so I feel like the other thing would be that if SSR said that, hey, you could contact or reach out, and if there's any evidence that was offered or something, that would be a bit more sufficient evidence. But I'm happy to.
Yeah, let's just have a look. I had it for knowledge 1 for So I think that's where I please read up on PPE. So I think I found that specific enough, because this question is about PPE.
Yeah.
But I also note that you mentioned in terms of reaching out, yeah, they could have put some information as well. So, if the student is having troubles finding that information, that certainly could be more evidence as well. But however, I felt that it was satisfactory because there was some, but certainly that's something we can, I guess, consider for next time as well.
Okay.
I would agree with you on that, Suwana, because I feel that they've pointed them in the right direction. So I do think that they've given sufficient support. I see where you're coming from also, Syed, but I feel that they've given a response and told them where to find what they need to do.
Yeah. Look, what I'll do is, I will remove it from the action point. I guess, now that Suparna has revisited that page and it says, that particular question and feedback was referred to the specific area, and I think it makes sense. That it seems like there's some support given there.
Great.
Well,
I don't have anything else on my list. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. So I would say this is a non-compliant product, and I think definitely some of these points that we've brought up needs to be, I guess, worked on for it to be a compliant product. So thank you very much, everyone, for that. I will pass on. Once Syed shares it with us, I'll pass that on to the assessment designer and assessors as well to look into. Does anyone have anything else to add about validation or would like to give any feedback? I'm open to that. I'm just going to turn on the light really quickly. I realize I've just disappeared into darkness. Just bear with me. All right.
I have shared the action points in the chat.
Thank you very much for that, Syed. Does anyone have any feedback for me?
I think you go first, Megan.
Sorry. You're very calm, very clear throughout the whole process. Thank you. It was very clear what the expectations were from you as we went through it. You were very well organised. I think it was great that you had your sections highlighted as well, and that you also had your assessment documents ready so that we could check and to had those discussions where we to make sure we had came to the same outcome. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. And I think both of you collaborated very well. Contributed well as well, and especially you, Suparna, you led this very well, the collaboration part of it, and it is very clear and easy to follow as well, and step by step through. One of the feedback I would like to add is that, and I think as you have gone through each of the item, and we could have briefly discussed that and what we are agreeing on at the action point, which we did most of it, but that hey, this is the issue we found. This is the action that we're going to recommend. And what do you guys think? It would be more on agreeing all three of us on one specific action point. But I've recorded most of it. You guys can go through it. Other than that, Suparna, it was very, very good and very easy to follow. Especially the last bit that I liked that you added, that we all agree that it needs to be validated, which we haven't done for the previous EOC. That's something we definitely should have mentioned. So yeah, thank you. It is a very good validation meeting.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job.
All right, there we go. Last presentation.
That's it. Are you guys going to join the next class?
Yeah.
What are you going to? What class are you joining?
The next Monday. I guess once we get all this feedback, we should be able to submit it.
Yeah, I can't believe we're at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's I know this is being recorded, but I have to say I found that one the most difficult out of all of my presentations. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I do feel a bit flustered.
You did well, Megan. I would not be able to tell that you were flustered or anything. It was you handled it really well.
Thank you.
I think the main struggle for me was that throughout the whole thing, the demand of content that we had to put together in a review and submit within a very short period of time, that was very demanding. In terms of the difficulty, if I would look at it from the depth, it wasn't difficult. I think Jody was very good in terms of guiding us through and very supportive and giving us the time and support that we need to do it. It's just that getting it done and being on time. If you miss one class, That's it, and I'm not good at, watching recording, 3 hours recording and catching up. I don't do that.
I did struggle with that. I put my hand up and say that the first time I had to watch a recording was this weekend, and I did reach out, and I shouldn't have, but I was so flustered because I was just trying to keep up. So I just had to, I actually left the computer. I went out for a couple of hours, did my grocery shopping, and came back and went, okay, reset.
and you guys have probably noticed that now I usually ask a lot of questions in the classes because that's how I learn, and that's why I joined the class to be able to ask any questions, any knowledge gap I have.
Yeah.
If I watch the recording, I don't have that opportunity, and I don't have that
Yeah.
collaborative opportunity, and and that's why even my uni life was like, I go to class, I get my things done. If I don't go to class, I'm behind.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I've been wanting to do TAE for quite some time now. Timing this year was just right. I mean, the kids are older, all sorts of things just aligned, but I've never been disciplined enough to just go, okay, I'm going to do this online. When I found this course with the 2 nights a week and having the study structured, it's so much better. Unfortunately, I have a teammate who did a different cert for all on her own, absolutely smashed it. And I just look at her and she goes, I don't know how you could do class. I'm like, I don't know how you do that on your own. Like,
so the self-paced ones are interesting.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't really spent much time outside the class to, complete any of my assessment. Most of my assessment was done in the class.
Yeah. I have had a few weekends where I've had to catch up, and in the early stages, definitely trying to get the assessments right and things like that. But I think initially, it's building that first presentation, and then once you've done that, it's just
getting into the
it,
rhythm.
It's always the start of a new unit as well, right? Because you're just wrapping your head around the expectations of the unit and like what you're learning and I guess what you need to do. And I think that's always that first 2-3 classes of each new unit is like, okay.
Everyone's like,
and then like, oh, that wasn't like what I thought it was. It's much easier now that it's happened.
First 2 or 3 units were like, had no idea what's going on. And then I saw the pattern. The pattern was like, the first thing I need to know, how many assessments I have to submit, what are the deadlines? And then I can ask the question, I need this, I need that, I need this, can you help me with this? So once you understand what needs to be submitted, it gets easier. Then you can plan this in your head, and then I've got it under control and have to stress.
Yeah.
But I did think about quitting a couple of times. I'll admit that.
Did you?
Yes, because
I just keep questioning my decision as to why I signed up, and I'm like, so close. I've done this. So close.
I actually loved most of it.
No, it's not I didn't like the course. It's more of it that I didn't think that I had the time to actually commit to this.
Yeah. The timing was a bit tough, and the last few weeks I was missing sessions here and there because of some health issues, and I'm all good, but basically my iron levels drop dramatically. So I've actually had 2 iron infusions this year, and
I'm so tired.
Just before, like, I only had one 2 weeks ago, and just before that, like, I was starting sessions, I couldn't concentrate, my head was and it's terrible because then you get behind, and so I'm trying to catch back up, and of course it was this unit which I found the hardest, and so it definitely throws you out. But I think we had an amazing group. I've loved getting to know all of you. Jodie's amazing. She's a crack up. I'm going to miss those, all your voices. Emma's little pommy voice. I love Emma. I say that to her. She's so funny. She cracks me up. I know she's trying to be angry, but when she says it in that accent, I'm like, God, you just made me laugh.
No, thank you guys. And I think I also had the opportunity to work with a very good group, especially grouping up with you guys, both of you, Emma, that helped me a lot to get through the difficult units.
I think we made a good team. It's funny because when we kind of all just started to lean towards each other, it's great.
Yeah. Thank you guys, all the help
Well,
and
you guys have a
support.
good night. I'll
Yeah.
finish. I'm just going to quickly have some dinner, and then I'll put these notes together and send them through. And thank
Oh
you
yeah,
both.
I'll
so
have to do mine after as well. I've just put all
Yeah.
the findings, but I'll write up the recommendations.
Yeah.
Look, the only reason I was able to do it is because when I was doing it the other
Pre
night,
did it
so I had
yesterday.
most of
You're
it.
super fast. Super fast, Ed.
No, that's because the demo unit, that's
You
when
know
I
how we did
recorded
it
most
in
of it.
class the other day and Syed was
Oh,
scribing. So it's the same unit. So he's
It's the
already
same
had
unit.
half the head
cheeky
start.
boy. Cheeky boy.
But no, thank you though, either ways. But yeah, I'll email it to you guys. If not tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. That sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you
All
Thank
both.
you guys. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Thank you. See
Bye.
you guys. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.